Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from PointyHairedJedi, someone who you might be familiar with because he is also doing Warships content on YouTube. Sometimes he even streams on Twitch, and obviously he is hosting the Caterpillar podcast together with myself. So he is in the Schultz on a 3-point domination game on Islands of Ice. It's a tier 10 battle, nobody's surprised, but hey, there is no sub, there is no carrier. Which is, I guess, good news. Now, on the radar front, we only have a Chapayev to worry about, so, you know, not too bad either. Now, of course, the Schultz doesn't really have great concealment, so he is at 6.4 here. He does have a smoke though, so if he gets detected, he might be able to disappear. And this Chapayev is, well, getting very close into radar range. Right now, Jedi is just sitting here, waiting for stuff to torpedo. Now, honestly, what he's doing is a little bit risky, because, honestly, he's not in the most maneuverable ship, and, well, he's got detected right now. If there were torpedoes coming the wrong way, this could have ended very deadly. But... well, speaking of deadly, he got detected and he got pummeled a bit there. But he deployed his smoke and, you know, he can just slow down here and probably use this smoke to pew-pew a little bit. Although I guess he might be more concerned about torpedoes. Now, what I tend to do in this cap is I tend to sit right next to this island and then just hide behind the island if necessary, or if torps are coming. Gives you a bit of more freedom there. Okay, so Jedi is using his smoke there, and I mean, it's a broadside Napoli, it's hard to resist if you're in one of the new German ones. So obviously armor piercing it is. The Napoli is trying to angle, but you know, with the combined friendly forces, the Napoli is no more. Now next up we have a Friedrich that briefly disappeared, but obviously is firing his guns, so that should no longer be an issue here. Now Jedi is using his torpedoes to figure out just how fast this Friedrich is going and to see where he needs to give his lead. Also, his torps are almost reloaded. Now, of course, you know, being the new German torps, if he tries to use them here, it will take them probably like 10 minutes to reach the Friedrich. But hey, might as well launch them there. Now, he's been detected by cheeky little Benson, a Benson that's even using its guns for some reason. Now, obviously the problem with those German guns... oh, that was a pretty decent salvo there. The problem is that the high explosive is very bad, so that's why he's using armor piercing. Now, once the Benson angles though, he has to switch, and then it's going to be a bit of a disappointment. The first salvo was pretty nice, especially since he got some pens. The guns always have the tendency to overpen a bit, even if you see broadsides. So yeah, the German ones are a little bit lackluster dealing with destroyers usually, unless you really manage to get off those juicy pens. But hey, so far the friendlies have B, the enemies have A, although the friendlies are contesting it. And well, the sea is going to fall pretty soon. And honestly, the enemy is going to push from over there pretty soon too. But, well, Jedi is facing the problem that the new Germans have, and that's they are just not sneaky enough to really do much of the cap work. The Benson is outspotting him heavily. And... well... if you have a game where there are more destroyers, then it's not that big of a deal. But if you're forced to do the sneaky cappy stuff in a new German one, you're not gonna have the best time. But, you know, there's still plenty of game to go. Now he's trying to get around here a little bit, the flanks, trying to get some torpedo angles, and he can maybe use even that island to sneak back into that cap. Now the Chapayev is getting very low. I mean, the Chapayev hasn't really been that big of a deal so far, but you know, it's always making you uncomfortable, I guess, if it's very close, especially if you're in the fastest, most maneuverable destroyer. And if it would be gone, I mean, it's running away anyway, I guess. Now, I think personally I would have gone for the cap here and tried to use this island there. Although the friendlies are currently pushing in and capping. So maybe it's not that big of a deal. The Benson has been dealt with, by the way, so there is no longer an issue here. Now, with this amount of friendlies, and if they're actually moving forward, they shouldn't have a problem capping and dealing with this, so Jedi could already go and have a look at what's coming from the other side. Because, let's be honest, they are going to push B pretty soon. Meanwhile, the torpedoes, I mean, they could hit, but like the biggest advantage is that the enemy battleships are hugging each other very tightly. And I think that prevents one of them from maneuvering. So with combined efforts, you know, that Friedrich is there. Well, at least the Lenin had a living shield. Well, not so much living anymore, but you know. Now there are some more troops going after the Lenin, although I have a feeling that the Lenin won't be long for this world. Meanwhile, the Alsace has almost reached the B camp. Now it looks like the enemy destroyed the Kita castle is more down to the south, where we have an Öland that can potentially spot that. Yeah, Kita castle is a very scary gunboat, and it is better concealed than the Schultz, so you wouldn't like want to run into that, to be honest. Also, unfortunately, there are just a lot of battleships around, and not really that many juicy armor piercing. I mean, it's not like you can't do damage against those battleships with armor piercing. It's more that, you know, citadeling cruisers would be much more fun, I guess. Now, Jedi has the option here to smoke up and shoot, which might be a very tempting option. And the only question is somebody else doing the spotting other than him? But at this point, also I guess he gives his position away, sort of. But then again, his hopes are so slow anyway that I wouldn't really trust in them too much. So yeah, I feel like this would be the perfect spot to smoke, and exactly he agrees. It's time to use those guns a bit, because let's be honest, that's really what those boats are about. And now he also might have been deliberate. He waited basically until the troops hit the Thunderer, so he didn't really give away his position in time, and now that the troop has already hit, he is free to pew pew. So I tried to switch that to the Alsace because that needed to go down. Now it's back to the Thunderer. His troops are almost reloaded. Now, of course, the issue is that you aren't going to set any fires, so that he forced the Thunderer to damage con with a flooding earlier. You know, it's not creating an opportunity for him. It might be creating an opportunity for the team, but I mean, just look at those salvos, right? They do hurt. If you get those flat broadsides to shoot at, those German guns will deliver. And, you know, he also has some troops going, so if the Thunderer... Well, okay, the Thunderer is dead. Overall, it's a pretty even game, I suppose. The friendlies do have quite a few more points currently, which is good. Now, next up, we have the Kremlin. Now, you know... The Kremlin is starting to angle. Kremlin not the best target, there isn't... well, I mean, he can go for the superstructure here as he is right now. But there wasn't really that much of an upper belt to shoot at. Oh no, that Golden Lion though, that's looking very interesting. Unfortunately, Smoke has run its course, so he has to expose himself here. But that Golden Lion isn't paying that much attention. And I'm not sure if the Kita castle will have the range here. Depends on the Kita castle's build. I would assume no. But then again, you know, I mean, some people build their Kita castle more for long range gunboating. So some pretty nice hits there. He also got some non-pens, so I'm not sure, like, for example, if you could Citadel Golden Lion at this range with armor piercing in the shorts. I would expect so, but I'm not really playing the new German ones, so I don't really have that much experience with their guns. Now, the Kremlin managed to sneak away and escape, which is a shame, but the friendlies are pushing this cap rather heavily right now. Of course, there is still a Kita-Kase around somewhere. Well, Edinburgh and Pommern have Hydro, so they might be able to deal with the Kita-Kase, depending on what the Kita-Kase is up to. The Lenin who is leading the charge, well, I mean, okay, the Lenin is no longer leading any charge. Well, how healthy is the Pommern? Yeah, not that healthy. The Pommern would be a good ship to have on the front. Now, Jedi could use his last smoke here and pew-pew the Kremlin. I mean, he can also do it without the smoke, I guess, because the Kremlin is getting very low. So, as long as those guns aren't pointing his way, yeah, he's fine here.
Wir haben ein gegnerisches Schlachtschiff versenkt.
Now, it's 4 against 4. The friendlies have a slight lead on points. The B cap is contested, though. Now, the Edinburgh is hydroing. And I found the Kita-Kase, so that's gonna be important, right? If they can... Oh, and the Gold Lion is so low. So they should be able to deal with both of those. Yeah, there goes the Kita-Kase. Now this is important, because getting rid of the Destroyer means the enemy team will have a much harder time capping. And yeah, okay, the Pommern was also sunk there, but it's 3 against 2 now, right? Edinburgh is still pretty healthy. The Amalfi, well, I have no idea, it's too far away. Jedi is just gonna grab the cap, obviously, because that's going to be... well, a good game securing move, let's just say. There are 5 minutes remaining, and the enemy is a bit too far away from the caps, I think, to bring this one home. Also, we are going to speed it up here. Well, let's just run it at 4 times the speed. I've unlocked the camera, so there shouldn't be any too jerky camera movements to give you vertigo. Now, the Edinburgh has managed to sit in his smoke and get wrecked. I think he got top. I mean, he's healing. Not actually sure what happened to him, but oh no, he's getting topped. Well, that was questionable. So, okay, we can slow it down here and give Jedi back control. The problem is those torps are way too slow. So there is a very little chance, I feel. Well, I mean, the Charles could turn right this way, I guess. So both friendly cruisers have been taken out. Jedi is going to get some shots in while he ducks behind this island. I mean, those torps weren't gonna hit anyway, so they hadn't given much away there, I guess. But his winning move here is basically just survive, right? So it's a shame that both friendly cruisers were lost. I'm not sure about the Amalfi. The Edinburgh was quite unnecessary. But Jedi does have a 210 point lead, sorta. And, well, currently both teams have the same points income, right? Because B is contested, so it's not generating points for anyone. Now, Jedi can't just sit here. The Charles is going to be dangerous. Also, keep in mind that the Charles is going to be relatively fast, I guess. He still has 1 smoke, but the last thing he wants here is to be cornered. Now, there is no RPF involved, so they don't know exactly where he is unless he shoots. What he certainly can do is use this island, get a salvo off, and then just be safe, just to get the interrupt going. I don't think it was needed points-wise, but it's certainly going to help, right? By the time they flip the B cap, it will be way too late to overtake the friendlies on points. got him with guns. Yeah, well, I mean, a Schultz could totally sink the charts here. Well, I mean, depends on the charts angling, to be honest. And maybe some RNG, but it's really not worth the risk right at this point. There is no way for that Charles to win. Can get another interrupt off if he wants to, but even that is unnecessary at this point. He's just, I guess, getting some more ribbons and maybe annoying the enemy more. As I said, like, if they flip B, there's just not enough time to overtake them on points. So, yeah. Jedi, obviously, knowing that he's going to win, is not going to take any risks here, and is just... Well, I mean, there isn't the sunset to sail towards, but just imagine he's sailing towards the sunset. Which brings us to the results. Jedi earned himself 2,305 base experience. Nicely done. Nicely done. So, unfortunately, he didn't get any achievements out of this, but then again, he wouldn't have gotten flags anyway, so... Oh well, he scored 135,000 points of damage. And yeah, he got quite a bit of use out of his armor piercing. No juicy cruisers, no juicy citadels there, but still some solid damage against some of the enemies he was facing. And yeah, just a solid plate game that was pretty close in the end, but he knew the power of points and objectives, and he managed to carry his team to victory. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you next time.